Okay, I want to welcome everyone. I am Dave Mulvaney. I'm going to cover the CoolPro EM system, most importantly, our web portal. I'm going to cover about 5 key areas where the CoolPro EM can save you a lot of money, not just in energy cost, but on the maintenance side as well. I am logged in at CoolProEM.net, which is where everyone will have a username to log in who's a customer, and what you see on your screen is what you see when you log in. First of all, if you notice this little circle right here, that is the instantaneous energy use being drawn in your facility. In this case, it's our facility. So we're drawing 29.17 kW in our facility right now. Right next to that, we've got our 7-day energy use. If you notice, I can look at yesterday's energy use. We used 196 kilowatt hours. I can look at yesterday's HVAC history, and I can see across our 5 air conditioners, we used our air conditioning 848 minutes yesterday. I can look at the last 7 days at any time and see how much we ran our air conditioning. Right below that, you see the controller status. These are the 5 air conditioning units we have in our building. Let me know the current temperatures of those units, the set points of those units, and then down below is the energy monitors. One of the things that makes us very unique is most energy management systems focus on the heating or air conditioning systems, but they forget that there's the energy usage side of the business. So we monitor both HVAC and energy simultaneously. So let's cover one of the big areas where CoolProEM is going to save you on your heating or cooling cost. The key to saving money and energy is not heating or cooling in the controlled space when the facility is vacant. I'm going to use Minnesota as a good example. In Minnesota, it gets nice and cold during the evening. So let's say your facility is open from 8 in the morning till 5 in the evening. So typically you close down. That means technically you're there 9 hours a day. That also means you're not there 15 hours a day. So you leave at night. You normally keep your thermostat around 69, maybe even as warm as 70. It's different preferences. Some like it as cool as 67. But you leave at night. Your programmable takes over at 5 o'clock, and it says, okay, we're going to run that thermostat down to about 64 degrees. That's about the norm I find in Minnesota, is that the set point is about 64 degrees, sometimes as low as 60. So you go home. How much did your heating run that particular evening? It's hard to tell because you're not actually monitoring it. So what we look at is we're going to find out how much it's running. So let's say it's a nice balmy 0-degree day in Minnesota. That thermostat is set at 64 degrees. You're going to run probably, because it's going to get below 64 degrees all night long. And so you might have as much as 3 hours of heating going on when nobody's in the building. Now, mind you, the weekend is much longer. So let's say Friday night, 5 p.m., you leave, and until Monday morning at 8 a.m., you're set at 64 degrees. And again, it's very cold outside. It might be in the 20s, doesn't matter. What's going to happen is that inside temperature is going to get below 64 degrees and your heat's going to run. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust that. We're going to make sure that your pipes don't freeze. We're going to keep it warm enough in there, usually about 40, 45 degrees, so that we're not heating, because you'll never get that cold in there unless it's sub-zero outside, and then we might have to run some heat to keep it in the 40s. But we're still going to be saving a lot more, even if it's that cold outside. So by making those adjustments, but monitoring what's going on in the facility at the same time to make sure that it's automated enough that if it needs to come on, it will. So not heating or cooling can have a substantial impact on your bottom line, and most, if not all, systems lack in that area. The second area, or a second area, as you navigate through our dashboard, I'm going to show you, we have these little tabs on the top. Almost everything in this portal is clickable, meaning I can click on occupied or vacant. I can turn things on and off to look at different things. But right now, I'm going to focus on just a little navigation. So one of the areas we're going to have additional savings. I'm going to go over here in the setup, and I'm going to show you how we save money by controlling how much, we're going to call it security, if you will, You notice a lot of people have those locks over their, over their thermostats because they don't want the people in the building playing thermostat wars, and that goes on in almost every business. These little wars that go on. Well, the first thing we have the capability of doing is having total control of the HVAC, which just simply means heating, ventilation, or air conditioning system. We have total control right here on a screen. We can take all level of control away from the thermostat, so there's no, so there's no ability to control it. So we set a passcode in there. But we can also allow how much anyone in the building or in a specific area can move the temperature up or down. So in my building, you can see here, I'm looking at my office actually. I can allow a 5-degree up or down swing. Well, why does that make a difference? Well, if people are playing thermostat wars all day long, you're heating and cooling, it's going back and forth, and so we can control that by a security adjustment range. You can make that 1 degree, 2 degrees, and up to 5 degrees, or you can make it so they can't move it at all. But a big important aspect of that is right below this. It's called the hold button. Now, almost every energy management system lacks in this area. They have a hold button. So if somebody, they might have the security adjustment range, but if somebody adjusted at the thermostat or at the EM's energy management controller and they push that hold button, it'll stay in that state till the cows come home. So it may stay heating all night long. They walk in the next morning and it's, it's 90 degrees in the building because they were it was cold, maybe the doors, people were coming in and out of the building, it was cold for whatever reason, and so they ran that heat up real high. So we control how long it stays in that state. So your options are 1 hour, 2 hours, or next scheduled boundary. So if there's, 5 p.m. is the end of the day, it's going to go back to the normal programming. And so if you've got it set for 1 hour, it goes back to programming immediately after the 1 hour. This is a big area of savings. Now, another area, the next area is under what we call alerts. Okay, when heating or air conditioning, when something goes wrong, they don't just typically break at one time. They tend to have problems with regulation. In other words, a zone not regulating. So you're asking for heating, but yet we're not getting to the desired set point. In this case, you see the zone not regulating here. I've got it set at 3 degrees. So if I'm asking for heating or cooling and it doesn't get to what I'm asking for within 2 hours, I'm going to send a text message or an email. And I can send it to up to 4 different contacts. It could be your maintenance person. It could be your heating and air conditioning repair person. It could be the manager on site. But someone, whoever you designate, is going to get that information. The good point about that is when you catch a problem with heating or air conditioning early, you have the ability to fix it at a much lower cost, because usually if you let something go like that, then you're looking at a major repair. It could be a pilot light out. It could be a lot of different things, but you want to catch it early, and that's the key to what our system does, because when you catch it early, the costs are dramatically reduced. Then we're going to jump over here to what we call the what I like to say is under HVAC control is how we control the HVAC. So I'm going to go into here, and what I'm going to show you is 2 additional ways we're going to save money. When your electric bill is made up of 2 big components, it's made up of kilowatt hours and it's made up of kW. kW times hours is kilowatt hours. kW is that instantaneous number I showed you when we logged in on the first screen. Well, they call it demand on your bill, and typically it makes up half of your bill. So if you have 5 heaters or 5 air conditioning units or 10 or 20, we can control or stage how they come on so they don't all demand all this energy all at one time. That sequencing can dramatically reduce your demand or your kW, and when it does so, it has a big impact on your electric bill. The other aspect is the EMS mode. When you're heating, and whether you're using gas to heat or electric to heat, when that thermostat gets to set point, it turns off, and normally the air handler turns off immediately. What we do is we continue to run that fan to blow that warm air into the space. We don't want to leave it sitting in the air handler. You paid for it. You paid to put it in the air handler. Let's get it out. So we run that for another 2 minutes, and so you're getting that air at about 5% of the cost of what it would cost, because you've already paid for it. It's already in the air handler. So whether you're heating or cooling, we're going to blow that air into the controlled space. One final thing that I'm going to cover in the web portal here is the graph section. We can look at our energy use for the past 4 months. So when we log in and we click on the graphs, what you're going to have on your screen is your last 28 days of energy use. You can look at each day. You can look at outside temperature. You can see how much you use on any given day. You can look at what is using electricity. Each one of these we can label to whatever is using electricity, and how many minutes each air conditioning or heating system is running on a daily basis. We have the ability to look back 4 months. So all of this information is available to you. There's a lot more information available, which for the sake of time, I'll keep it short. But this is a system design that we set up for you, but it's designed to save you a big money on your heating and air conditioning costs, on not only the energy side, but on the maintenance and downtime savings, which ultimately is going to return the biggest bang for your buck. So that's what I'm going to cover today, and I appreciate everybody being on the call, and I'll look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.